Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 322, as well as day 322 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Also to run two big races within this time frame. One of those races being a 50K ultra marathon trail race. That was the Yankee Springs 50K trail race out in Middleville, Michigan. That was on day 156 of my journey. I was able to finish that 31-mile race within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. The next race that came up within this yearly time frame was the Detroit Free Press Marathon. That was on day 290 of my journey. And was able to run that race within 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 28 seconds. Both of those times being personal records for me. That was my first ever 50K ultra marathon race. So that 7 hour, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds was a personal record for me. And as well as the Detroit Free Press Marathon, that wasn't my first marathon per se. I did run one last year with my buddy Joe, and they canceled the official marathon. I didn't want to do a virtual one, so I ran my own just for free instead of paying all the money to run a virtual one. And I think I did that within 5 hours, 22 minutes and something. So this year it was my first officially timed official marathon race. Was shooting for a sub 4 hour time and was able to just get that, like I said, with the 3 hours, 57 minutes and 28 seconds. So that was really an awesome feat for me. Really good feeling. And like I said, those were both personal records. And as you can tell, we're on day 322 of this journey of running every single day in a row. So clearly I was able to run and keep the streak alive after both of those big races, which I think was the biggest thing that was kind of weighing on the back of my mind doing this whole entire thing of running all year. I remember just thinking that was going to be the biggest challenge. You know, running the race alone was going to be a big challenge, but to know how my body was going to feel the following days to continue to run and keep the streak alive. So we are now sitting here, like I said, on day 322. So let's break down the mileage for day 322 in a row. So for day 322, got out there again, ran the same route that I've been running all week. This is the fourth day of this week. So that was a 7-mile run. That put me at 28.2 miles for the week, which put me at 129.9 miles for the month, which put me at 1,489.3 miles for the year. So that 1,500 mile yearly goal, guys, we are 10.7 miles away from obtaining that 1,500 mile goal. And I have a feeling we'll probably surpass that since it is only November 18th. So, like I said, 10.7 miles to go to hit that 1,500 mile mark for the year, but we want to focus in really quickly on these monthly miles of 129.9. And I say that because every single month I challenge myself to run a 100-mile challenge. And I do it in honor of a charity in which I donate money to, as well as I try to start a coinciding fundraiser to try to raise money and awareness for. So for the first 10 months of the year, we were able to raise money for 10 great charities. Now we're here within the 11th month, the month of November, and yet again we're raising money for another great charity, that being Movember. So if you'd like to learn more about this month's fundraiser and charity and what it's about, as well as make your donations or be able to share this charity, you can find the link to do so of all three on the Defining Discipline Instagram story or the Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram story, or my personal page's Facebook story. Within all those stories, they'll pop up the link. You just click on it. It'll open up the actual page where I said you're able to make your donations. You're able to click and share the fundraiser, as well as learn a little bit more about this month's fundraiser in honor of Movember. You may have noticed I have been rocking the mustache in honor of Movember. Um, so again, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about that, you can click on that link. Now let's kind of get ready to get into today's actual episode. It is kind of getting late, and I do have an early morning at work tomorrow. So quickly, before we do get into today's actual episode, we are going to talk about today's word of the day as we always do right before. And for November 18th, 2021, today's word of the day is amity. Amity means friendship or friendly relations between nations. Amity. That is today's word of the day. We will screenshot it, as always, save it. And now we're going to get into today's actual episode 322, day 322 in a row. Today's theme for today's episode is struggle. And I want to talk about that because, one, in general, we're always going to have struggles. We're always going to come across struggles, and there's always going to be things that we're going to be struggling with. But I also kind of want to talk about it today because, these, I would probably say the beginning of this week, even just pumping out all these sevens, especially really yesterday and today. And again, this is the third week in November. In the first two, I pumped out, 50 miles. First week, I think I did 52 miles. Last week, I think I did 49. So getting, around that type of mileage per week and going on the third week of doing that. Like I said, this is the fourth day of the third week of me just running 7 miles, 7 miles, 7 miles, 7 miles. Same route. It kind of gets, kind of starts to wear on you. And not even that, in general, my body and my mental state and everything, it's kind of just been a huge struggle these past few days. And it's kind of really weird to think about because overall my body feels pretty good. I don't feel too sore. My legs don't feel too messed up or too bad. But today was a real big struggle. Just mentally getting out there. Didn't really feel like doing it. Was just tired. Especially with having to do these episodes right after, try to get all the posts in. And then I get up in the morning. I have maybe an hour or two to kind of spend with my daughter and my wife, and then I go to work, and then I come home from work, and I got maybe another 30 minutes to an hour to kind of spend with them, and then I go out for about an hour, and then I come back, and it takes me another hour to 2 hours to get everything uploaded. So I've just been nonstop. My brain continues to just keep rolling and thinking and just nonstop, and it's definitely has started to take its toll on me. And like I said, today was a huge struggle actually being out there while running. I don't know necessarily if it maybe, I think I do want to believe has to do with the workload, but today I just had a real big loss of appetite. Wasn't feeling good. I have been losing sleep the last couple nights. My daughter had got her vaccinations for her 6 months. She got her 6 month vaccinations. So she had a fever and a couple other things, just the cold or whatever that came with it. She's been sick these past couple nights, right after the vaccinations, and she's been crying all night, keeping us up all night, and it's just been that has been a struggle within itself, trying to deal with her, because it's kind of hard to really not deal with a baby, but it's kind of hard to deal with that with a baby because it's hard to figure out what's wrong because she can't communicate with you. You just go off the cry. You obviously know she's having a fever, so you got to cool her down. But you don't know if it's gas that's bothering her because she was really constipated. She was ripping some big farts. So you kind of got to guess and just deal with it. That's like the hardest part of I think really being a parent is when you're in these situations and all you want to do is help your child and do something to help, but really it's kind of like a time game where you just kind of got to wait it out and do as much as you can. But yeah, that has been a little bit of a struggle, especially um, on top of me putting in all those miles and getting lack of sleep. And like I said, today I just felt real nauseous, real sick. I lost appetite all day, barely ate all day, and just really had no energy to get out there, no motivation. Got out there, and you know, right before I made it about halfway, I started to feel real nauseous, real sick. Was trying to burp and get the gas out of me, and just felt like I was gonna throw up, and almost felt like I was just gonna pass out. Like my body was just gonna just cave in and pass out. And it wasn't even, again, like it wasn't like my muscles were in pain or hurting or sore, or it's nothing like that. It's just like my body is just ready to just say, sit down, calm down, relax. So it was a big struggle today, and then even getting back, took its toll on me. Um, I think the one thing that is kind of getting me through these past few weeks has been me kind of slowing up my pace and not putting too much of a workload. Obviously, the mileage itself is a huge workload, but trying to do it at a good average pace that I normally do, 8.5 mile, or try to get right around there, maybe an 8 mile, go down into the sevens. Um, it's just not on the cards. I would definitely not be able to make it this many miles by pumping out that type of speed. So I've been taking it easy to try to really push through. Now, again, on the flip side of today's episode, I want to talk about struggle in general, because a lot of us throughout life, um, me being one of them, was guilty for a long time of trying to avoid struggle, trying to avoid anything that's going to be hard or difficult. And truly, the pudding is in the struggle. The purpose is in the struggle. I think I even posted that yesterday on one of my photos. I truly believe it. You will find so much purpose within your own struggles. And the more you put on your plate, the more you make it harder for yourself. And again, there is a limit. There's a point where too much is too much. But if you can get to the very tip top, if you can get it right to the brim of the amount of struggle within your life, I promise you will find meaning. And I know that during a lot of struggle, maybe a lot of things don't work out the way you want them to, especially right away. But the more you struggle, the more you learn, the more you get stronger, the more you can adapt to these situations and get used to them. And when the next time something familiar like that arises, you know what to do. So it's within these struggles of life that we can truly bring out the best of ourselves. And I truly believe that. I believe that the more we put on ourselves to really push ourselves, the more we will find how far we can go. And these past 2 years have been a perfect example of that for me. Not being able to barely run a mile to, running 31 miles and running 26 miles and running every single day this year. It has been a struggle. It wasn't just me waking up one day and being like, okay, I'm gonna run all these, and it wasn't hard. No, it was hard. Every single day is hard. Just because I'm out here pumping in and pumping out all these miles doesn't mean that it's just easy, that it's just nothing, that, nonchalant. No, this is a struggle. Every single day, me getting out there, especially like I said, this past week has been a struggle. And I'm finding strength within that struggle. Knowing I didn't want to get out there today, knowing I didn't want to put 7 miles in today, but telling myself this is what I need to hit the 50-mile mark. I don't care if I want to be out here or not. I told myself I'm going to be out here, so I'm going to be out here, and following through and facing that struggle, face to face, is where you can truly find your greatness, where you can truly push past where you ever thought you could. So, for that reason, your daily discipline today, episode 322, it is to go out there and find your struggle. It is to go out there, and if you are struggling currently, to realize that there's only lessons to be learned from this struggle, and that you can take away so much from your struggle if you allow yourself to. If if you step back and look at what's actually happening and what maybe you are doing to cause your own struggle, maybe you could do something differently that would ease up your struggle. But then again, like I said, even when you start relieving your struggle, you always need to have a new struggle coming in to really develop and evolve and push yourself forward and to grow. So that is your daily discipline for the day. It is to find your struggle, whatever it may be, to really give you your purpose and your reason to get out there every day and to fight that struggle. And mine currently has been running and has been very great for me. It's truly helped me not only physically but mentally. It's been a savior. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Other than that, though, guys, let's get ready to close this episode out. Episode 322, day 322 in a row. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. If you guys can, please give this podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Facebook, our TikTok, our YouTube, our Instagram, and whatever other podcast streaming platform you've been following along and listening on. Other than that, I really do truly appreciate any and everyone who has been following along, any and everyone who has even just stopped in for one episode, or even just liked the post or liked the page, whatever the case may be. I truly appreciate it, guys. It's been a great journey. Make sure you guys get your daily discipline done for the day. Stay disciplined, and if you guys can, come back tomorrow for episode 323. Truly, until then, like I said, stay disciplined and get your daily discipline done. Just want to quickly rehash kind of the whole point of this podcast. Again, it is to work on ourselves on an individual level. For the longest time, I always criticized everyone and what they were doing and how they were doing it and never looked within the mirror. And I realized if we truly want to make the world a better place, it starts on an individual level. So find what you are doing wrong and work on that. That is kind of the goal of this whole podcast. It is to, it's following along on me working on myself in hopes that maybe I can spark some inspiration for others to do the same, to truly work on their own flaws and try to make this world a better place by doing so. So that is the message of the podcast. Like I said, this is episode 322. If you guys can, give it a like, subscribe, a share. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 323. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott, and until then, stay disciplined and peace out. Thanks, guys.